The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Internally Displaced Persons says it will recommend the domestication of the Kampala Convention to the National Assembly. The committee members, while on a visit to Borno State, explained that the affected population by insurgency are living under terrible and unbefitting conditions.
The House of Reps Ad Hoc Committee on Internally Displaced Persons was constituted following a unanimous adoption of a motion moved by Zainab Gimba, a member representing one of the federal constituencies in Borno State. The committee, led by its chairman, is in Maiduguri on a 3-day visit to assess the living conditions of IDPs with a view to recommending legislative solutions. Their first port of call is a town hall meeting with the affected population.
Because you are IDPs does not mean you are not citizens of Nigeria. So we want you, even in this difficult condition, to have all the rights and privileges of a Nigerian. We also want to make sure that whatever decision is taken in the camp gets your input. We don't just want to impose things on you. We want to know the extent to which you people participate in the day-to-day decisions that guides your livelihood here.
The team also holds talks with the military and civil society partners. Discussions center around how the affected population can be safely returned home, which the people believe is the only solution to the endless challenges associated with living in makeshift camps.
Some of these people you see in the IDP camps have with their own hands built more than 3 houses in the past. The senseless Boko Haram war reduced them to this level. And the best we can do for them is not to give them food and rice as if there are some helpless people in one tent where they are not comfortable. What we can do, and we will be grateful to God and us, is to improve the security situation so much that they can return to their villages, their towns, and resume their normal lives. That should be our primary focus while we try to sustain them in the IDP camp.
Even though the internally displaced persons badly yearn to return home and put their ugly experiences behind them, the issue of safety remains paramount. These formed part of the private discussion between the committee and principal officers of the Theatre Command.
There is an international convention, the Kampala Convention, that governs how IDPs should be treated. Nigeria is a signatory to the Kampala Convention. We signed the treaty in 2012. So part of what this parliament may do, based on our report, may be to recommend that we domesticate that instrument so that we can have a holistic approach to the issue of IDPs in this country.
The committee says it will publish a report on its findings according to parliamentary rules with recommendations that will alleviate the sufferings of the IDPs.
Now, officials of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry have decried the bottlenecks in accessing loans by owners of small and medium enterprises in the country. The Director General of the Chambers, Mrs. Tonia Shoyele, explains that removing the obstacle for SMEs for the owners is facing a very important feat if they must continue to contribute to national development.
In Nigeria, small and medium businesses contribute over 48% of national gross domestic product. They also account for 96% of businesses and 84% of employment. Despite the significant contribution to the Nigerian economy, challenges that hinder the growth and development of the sector still persist. This forum, organized by the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, seeks to find ways of addressing the bottlenecks often encountered by owners of small businesses.
They ask you for an arm and a leg. The developmental banks also operate like normal commercial banks. For how long will we do this? So we have taken this topic, remodeling SMEs financing, options and solutions. We all want to sit down here. Let us brainstorm. Let us take positions. What do we do outside the conventional request for collateral?
Suggestions were raised on how loans earmarked for persons involved in small businesses can get to them.
We could be used as the agency that can guarantee the recovery of these monies. So if you bring out 200 billion Why not give Abuja Chamber of Commerce, okay, we are allocating 2 billion to you. Let us see how these monies can be disbursed to your own members. And we hold you responsible. We hold your key officers responsible. We hold your assets responsible and see what you do with it.
We must synchronize theories into practicals. Enough of theories for now. So let us look at the practical perspective, the practical aspect of getting money also that our economy will be robust and will create jobs for the teeming youth of this country.
In the past 5 years, data from the National Bureau of Statistics showed that SMEs contributed over 48% to the nation's gross domestic product, created 17.4 million jobs, as well as accounted for 50% of industrial jobs across the country. Experts believe with more support from the government, the sector will only do better in the days ahead.
Thursday's bank robbery in Ekiti State is still generating concerns among residents of the state, and they are asking for a better security strategy that will outsmart criminal elements. The robbers, said to be more than 8 in number, invaded the bank in Ekiti on Thursday, blowing up the bank door with dynamite before carrying out the operation. A police officer was also killed during the robbery. Our correspondent Babajide Agbeyo reports.
This is Ekiti in Niseorun local government area of Ekiti State. This bank, until 2 days ago, was the only one in operation in the area after one closed shop following an armed robbery incident about 6 years ago. Another robbery incident occurred on Thursday afternoon. By this time, the armed men were said to have broken the security door with dynamite to gain entry into the banking hall, cutting away an undisclosed amount of money and killing a policeman in an operation that lasted about 30 minutes.
Yesterday, I did inside shop here. Now I see those 3 mobile police where they enter. They say they need code something. I say I get. Then call sit down. I see one man. He come here. He come the parabolate here. He carry one sack bag. He hold on like this. Small time like this. He now bring out gun. Then kill one out of that 3 mobile police yesterday.
The sporadic shooting by the robbers and an explosive device thrown in the direction of a shopping area left some injured.
One of them came to me in the morning to buy a sachet of action bitter from me in the morning. When the guys back to us in the evening, I thought he also want to buy something. I have it in attention to attend to him, but they just brought out a gun in their sack, so they start shooting.
Residents lament the economic implications of the bank robbery and believe more can be done to ensure security of banks and their host communities.
We appeal strongly to the government to please federal government and state government and the bank management themselves come around and work together. Let there be PPA, government partnership, whatever, between them so that they can survey the security.
In the meantime, police say they are on the trail of the armed robbers and will ensure they are caught.
The last bank standing in Ekiti is closed for now. The people want a better security architecture that will prevent occurrences like this. Babajide Agbeyo, Channels Television News.
The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Hamid Ali, says that the border post will remain closed indefinitely until the movement of goods and persons, as established by ECOWAS protocols, are strictly adhered to. The customs chief says that the closure was never intended to be in force within 24 days, but notes that the decision was taken to checkmate the proliferation of firearms, importation of contraband, and other illegal activities by unpatriotic individuals along the land borders. He was speaking with reporters during his operational visit in Idiroko border in Ogun State.
Smuggling is an offense. Many of you standing here may not accept it. Smuggling is an offense. Every illicit thing you bring into this country has a way, consequences on our economy, on our security, on our well-being. And we have gotten to a point that we must do something drastic in order to stop this. Otherwise, we'll finish. I'll give you an example. arms and ammunition. They are not brought from heaven. No, they go through our borders. Today, everywhere, that's why kidnapping is everywhere. Bandit is everywhere. Those who are doing that, it's not because they are stronger than me and you, but because they have guns in their hand. That's the only reason. If it is man to man, many of them will not be on the street. Many of them. But because they have guns and ammunition, they can do anything. They go and ransack villages and kill people and cut away their things. And nobody can do anything.
Frank talk, if you'll ask me. Let's move on now to business news with Bisi Adebayo.
Many thanks, Gimba. Welcome to Business News. Nigeria's forex reserves fell by $250 million to $42.11 billion week to date as at September the 25th, and that's a 10-month low. This comes on the back of sustained sell-off of Naira assets by investors outside the country amid the absence of the central bank's weekly dollar intervention at the forex market. The country's dollar buffers, which earlier stood at $42.46 billion this month, have been falling at around $400 million per week from August. But despite the continuous depletion of the reserves, financial experts believe the central bank has more than enough ammunition to sustain the Naira stability at the forex market. The stock market ends the fourth trading week of September slightly negative after mixed sentiments characterized equities' performance within the 5 sessions. Both the all-share index and the overall value of listed equities fell by 0.09% to close the week at 27,675.04 and 13.472 trillion naira accordingly. Only the banking sector sub-index recorded lackluster performance among 5 key sectors of the NSE following a 1.64% drop, and the oil and gas counter was highest, up 11.63%. Seplat led a pack of 22 gainers with a 20% price increase. Learn Africa tops 42 losers, down 19.42%, while 102 equities were unchanged during the week. Overall volume of shares traded in the 5 sessions stands at 1.097 billion units, worth 16.69 billion naira in 14,717 deals, driven mostly by the shares of Access Bank, Nigerian Breweries, and Custodian Insurance. More stories now. The Chief Executive Officer of NASDAQ OTC Securities Exchange, Bola Ajomale, says the exchange is planning the adoption of blockchain technology as a strategy that will help investors in the Nigerian capital market. Mr. Ajomale was speaking at an interactive presentation with market traders.
This is the first in a series of looking at technology and what it means for our market, and the first of the series today was on blockchain to see how it affects the capital market and see what the capital market should be preparing itself for next year and the years to come. So again, rather than ignoring something that is coming, that's a fact, we're beginning to look at what does it mean for us and where should we be going from here. We heard examples from the facilitator of the kangaroo bonds, for example, that were raised in Australia. We have heard how the World Bank is actually supporting the growth of the blockchain industry in raising capital, and I think it's only a matter of time before that happens in Nigeria in particular, but West Africa and Africa as a whole. So we as NEST are looking at positioning ourselves to be able to embrace that technology and form a landing pad for that technology when we do start to use it in this market.
And in Edo State, the government has identified the small and medium sector as a major catalyst towards the attainment of its goal of job creation and income generation for its youth. The Deputy Governor of the state, Mr. Philip Shaibu, explains that the state government is able to create jobs through its entrepreneurship program tagged the Artisan Hub, which has generated not less than 75% of its targeted 200,000 employment opportunities for the youth.
So we have derived, we have created a skill acquisition programs, both for the artisan and for graduates. And also we have created an artisan hub what we call the industrial hub, where you can come and establish your small businesses, and there's 24 hours light for you to optimize the benefit of creating something. And if you come to Sapele Road, you see that industrial hub that we have created for the artisan. And don't forget that if we don't grow SMEs, obviously the economy will remain where it is, because the major commerce and the activity that takes place between the middle programs, the small scale industries, is what we service the industries. Today we have bigger industries, very large industries, but no service. And we need to create that. And don't forget that white-collar jobs are no longer there. And government can, the era of wastage is gone. And for us in Edo, you must earn a living. And the only way we can earn a living is when you are skilled. Skilled labor is what we emphasize in Edo, and we are not only emphasizing it, we are creating it, and we are getting centers where, whether it is in the area of film, whether in the area of creation of products, we have them all packaged in Edo.